Hello everyone and welcome back to Cute Crochet. My name is Sri and in today's video I am going to show you how to crochet these succulent pot amigurumis. These are super easy to make and perfect for beginners and they make a great gift for any occasion. To make these you will need clay color yarn for the pot, dark brown for the soil and some green for the plant. You will need some pillow fluff to stuff the pot and for tools you are going to need a crochet hook, a yarn needle, something to use as a stitch marker and a pair of scissors. So let's get started. For the pot I am going to use this clay colored yarn. This is a 4-ply yarn and with it I am going to use a 3mm crochet hook which is a couple of sizes smaller than what is recommended for this yarn. It's actually recommended to use a 4mm hook with this. We do this so that our stitches are nice and tight and none of the stuffing shows through. We are going to start by making a magic circle. To do that, wrap your yarn up and over your finger like so, forming a cross in the front. Then insert your hook underneath the cross. Take the yarn from the other side and pull through. Then again yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook. Now remove this loop from your finger and this is the magic circle that we are going to work into. Start by making a chain 1. This chain 1 does not count as a stitch. Then we are going to make 6 single crochets into the magic circle. To make a single crochet, insert your hook into the magic circle and pull up a loop. You will have 2 loops on your hook like this. Yarn over and pull through the 2 loops and that finishes 1 single crochet. Let's do it again. Insert your hook into the magic circle and pull up a loop. 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through 2. Now we are going to make 4 more single crochets like this for a total of 6 single crochets. After you finish making 6 single crochets, you can pull on this tail to cinch the magic circle completely closed, and this brings us to the end of round 1. At the end of round 1, we have 6 single crochets. This amigurumi is going to be worked in continuous rounds, so we need to mark the last stitch of the round. For that I am using a paper clip here, but you can use anything. You can use a yarn in a different color or you can also get proper stitch markers. Round 2 is an increase round. For this round we are going to increase in each stitch all the way around. An increase is simply placing 2 single crochets into one stitch. So go into that first single crochet and make 1 single crochet. Then make 1 more single crochet into that same stitch and that is our increase stitch. Again into the next stitch place 2 single crochets. Now into the remaining 4 stitches of the round, make increases, that is 2 single crochets into the same stitch. When you reach the last stitch of the round, remove the stitch marker and place 2 single crochets into that stitch as well. This brings us to the end of round 2. At the end of round 2, you will have 12 single crochets. Go ahead and mark the new last stitch of the round. For round 3, we are going to increase into every alternate stitch. So, into that first stitch, make a single crochet. Then into the next stitch, 2 single crochets. Then into the next stitch, 1 single crochet, then increase. Continue repeating like this. Single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase all the way around. Once you reach the last stitch, remove the stitch marker and place 2 single crochets into it. For this and every other increase round, you should be increasing into the last stitch, and if you are not, you must have done something wrong in your counting and you will have to recheck your work. Go ahead and mark the new last stitch of the round. At the end of round 3, you will have 18 single crochets. For round 4, we are going to be working into the back loops only. If you look at each stitch carefully, they have a front loop and a back loop. We are going to only go under the back loop to make the stitches like so. We are going to make 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around in the back loops only, keeping the stitch count constant at 18. I am going to finish the round like this and meet back up with you. Here I am at the end of round 4. You will have 18 stitches all the way around. Working into the back loops only will create a flat bottom for the pot. Go ahead and replace the stitch marker. For round 5, place 1 single crochet into the first 5 stitches. Then into the next stitch, increase. Again 1 single crochet into the next 5 stitches. Into the next stitch, increase. Now repeat this sequence one more time. 1 single crochet into the next 5 stitches and then increase. Like every other increase round, you should be increasing in the last stitch. At the end of round 5, you will have 21 single crochets. For round 6, place 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around, keeping the stitch count constant at 21. For round 7, place 1 single crochet into the first 6 stitches. Then into the next stitch, increase. We are going to repeat this sequence 2 more times. 1 single crochet into the next 6 stitches and then increase. Again 1 single crochet into the next 6 stitches and into the last stitch increase. Like every other increase round, you should be placing an increase into the last stitch. At the end of round 7, you will have 24 single crochets. Round 7 was our last increase round. For rounds 8 and 9, we are going to place 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around, keeping the stitch count constant at 24. I am going to finish making these 2 rounds and then I am going to meet back up with you. Here I finished making up to round 9. Now I am going to slip stitch into the front loop of the next stitch. Now we are going to start to make double crochets for the lip of the pot. Start by chaining 3. This will act as the first double crochet. Then into the front loop of the next stitch we are going to make a double crochet. To make a double crochet, yarn over, go into the front loop and pull up a loop. You will have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Then again yarn over and pull through the remaining 2. That's our double crochet. In the front loop of the next stitch, again make a double crochet, yarn over, go into the next stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Repeat like this all the way around. Here I finished making double crochets into the front loop of each stitch all the way around. Now I am going to slip stitch into the third chain of the first chain 3 to join, and this brings us to the end of round 10. Cut the excess yarn and fasten off, leaving a long enough tail for weaving in. Leave that yarn tail hanging there for now. When you fold over the top edge like so, you will create the shape of your pot. Next, we'll make the soil using dark brown yarn. The first 3 rounds of the soil are the exact same as that of the pot. I have made them already. Now for round 4, we are going to increase in every third stitch, but we are going to stagger our increases so that our piece does not become too hexagonal. Start by making 1 single crochet into the first stitch. Then in the next stitch, increase. Then make 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. Then in the next stitch, increase. We are going to repeat this sequence of 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches and then increase 4 more times for a total of 5 times. In the second last stitch of the round, I am making an increase stitch. Then remove the stitch marker and place one single crochet into the last stitch. This brings us to the end of round 4. At the end of round 4, you will have 24 single crochets. Then slip stitch into the next stitch and then cut the excess yarn and fasten off, leaving a long enough tail for sewing on the soil. The soil should fit perfectly on top of the pot with the exact same number of stitches all the way around. Next, for the plant, with the green yarn, we are going to start by making a slip knot. For that, wrap your yarn twice on your finger like so. Then pull the first loop over the second one and the second one up and off your finger. Insert your hook into this loop and pull tight. And that's our slip knot. Now we are going to chain 29. Here I finished making 29 chains. Now we are going to skip the first 4 chains. The loop on the hook does not count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Into the 5th chain we are going to make a double crochet. Then chain 1 and then make another double crochet in that same chain. This will create a V stitch. Now we are going to skip the next chain and make a V stitch in the next chain after that. So make a double crochet. Then chain 1 and then another double crochet in that same chain. This will create another V stitch. Skip the next chain and make a V stitch in the next chain after that. Continue repeating like this all the way across the length of the chain. Here we are at the last 2 chains. The work will start to curl up a lot like this. That's completely normal. We are going to skip the second last chain and make a double crochet into the last chain. Then chain 1 and turn your work. We are going to make a single crochet in the space in between the double crochet and the V stitch. We are not going into any stitch, we are going in the space in between. Then in the chain 1 space of the V stitch, we are going to make a leaf. For that, make 2 double crochets. Then chain 2. Then 2 more double crochets in the same chain 1 space. This will create the leaf shape. Now we are going to make a single crochet in the space in between the 2 V stitches. In the next chain 1 space of the V stitch, we are going to make another leaf. For that, make 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. This will create the second leaf. Again single crochet in between two V-stitches. We are again going to make a leaf in the next chain 1 space of the V-stitch. 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. Then single crochet in the space between the two V-stitches. Now we have made 3 leaves. We are going to repeat this sequence all the way across the length of the piece. 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet for the leaf, and then single crochet in between the two V-stitches. Here I am at the end of the row. Your piece should start to become a spiral like this. Now make 1 single crochet in that last space in between the V-stitch and the first chain 4. Then cut the excess yarn and fasten off, leaving a long enough tail for sewing. Take this yarn tail on a yarn needle. Now we are going to start rolling up our piece tightly along the shorter side. We are going to start from the end where we don't have the long yarn tail. Doing this will create this beautiful succulent shape. Now I am going to make a stitch through all of these layers just to hold them in place until I sew it on the soil. Now bring in the soil piece. We are going to sew the plant along the outside of round 2 just to keep the plant centered and make it look neat. Go down in between rounds 2 and 3. Then come up in between rounds 2 and 3 on the opposite side. Then go through all of the layers of the succulent. Then you can go down the same stitch as the first time. I am going to repeat this stitch again in another direction just to make it extra secure. Now the plant has been securely sewn on. Bring that shorter yarn tail to the back as well. Now we can tie a knot at the back with all the yarn tails to secure it. You can go ahead and cut some of these excess yarn tails if you like. Now we are going to sew the soil to the pot, but first we are going to stuff the pot. Make sure not to overstuff the pot. We don't want the bottom of the pot to bulge out. We want it to remain flat so that the pot can stand up on its own. We are going to sew the soil along the visible back loops of the pot. It should be pretty easy because the number of the stitches on the pot and the soil are the same. I am starting by going through the very last back loop of the pot. I am taking the front loop of the stitches of the soil and the back loop from the pot and stitching through both of them. I will repeat like this all the way around. Here I finished sewing all the way around. Now bring in that yarn tail in through the last stitch and then out through the back of the pot. Leave that yarn tail hanging there for now and take the yarn tail of the pot on your yarn needle. Bring that yarn tail in under the lip of the pot and then out through the bottom. We are going to use this yarn tail to create a dimple at the bottom so that the pot is more stable. Just make a small stitch and then bring the yarn tail out through the same hole as the brown yarn tail of the shawl. The bottom should curve inwards a bit like this. Now tie a knot using these two yarn tails. Then cut the excess yarn and hide the knot inside by pushing it in using the back of your yarn needle. And that's it. I hope you guys like this video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.